Hello, everybody, and welcome back to. I don't remember what number this is, but
Like 14 or something.
14, 15. But the main number you need to know is 428. Subtitle Shibuya Scramble, because that's the game we're playing. I am here with Yoshi,
What's up, folks?
and it's been a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, been about 2 weeks,
Do you remember
I
what
would say.
happened last time?
Um,
Maybe this little thumbnail will remind you.
we got killed by a cat.
We got killed by a
I,
cat.
I, I don't really remember that much.
Oh, I should mention, um, I might be a package might arrive, so like last time, there might be me walking away and you just having to listen to Yoshi come up with a joke.
Very nice. Little package lore for the folks at home, for the package heads.
All right, so Achi was killed by a cat. What else happened last time? Kano went to the bar
With
and
all the
did
dead
not,
people.
yeah, did not die. I guess the murderer had left. And something about the word Kanan was what that guy said. Minorikawa, I think has been finished a while ago. Was he? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, he has his laptop. Osawa's had to keep out after eating a meal. Tama is at a keep out after taking off the suit. Um,
Yeah, we got to fix up the Ach dog. Is that
yeah,
is that what you're saying?
yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, we gotta change the suit. We gotta have her keep the suit on so the guy isn't dressed up as a cat.
Oh, right. Yeah, the other person put it on. It wasn't the girl.
Yeah, because they were limping. Um,
Girls can limp too.
all right, let's just get that out of the way, and then we can figure out what the jumps are. Guess this cat's staying in the bag. All right, now Achi's fate has changed.
Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys and we could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen. Not unless Suzune gets better.
He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he sorted out how he felt about his former pals. I don't know why I'm doing this accent. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked.
He needs a heart transplant. And the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be. We did this already though.
Yeah, we did. Let's see if
Yeah.
there's anything. Let's see it. Can I skip forward?
She's got that wacky blood type.
Yeah, Bombay blood. Okay, this is the farthest I can go.
I would do anything.
Anything?
Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know?
Mr. Tanaka? Oh wait, there's the jump to Osawa.
Okay.
Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe, and then there's the jump to Tama. Okay. Good to know. Suddenly, someone hit the door. Hard. It sounded like they were trying to break the lock.
You really think that's Tanaka?
Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand.
We'd better hide.
The two of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood stage dressing.
Plywood is my favorite kind of dressing.
The door swung open with a loud creak. In stepped the man with the cane.
Oh no. Oh, what the heck?
Achi whispered.
Oh, what's he doing here?
Gun drawn, the assassin prowled slowly around the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi crouched behind the plywood prop, trying not to make a sound. The man moved out of their line of sight. Achi gazed lovingly, longingly at the door. Achi risked a peek around the corner of the plywood. He still couldn't see the man with the cane. The door was maybe 5 meters away. What should they do?
I think we need to wait for a safer chance to escape.
Alright, no, they needed to wait for a safer chance to escape.
Hey, that's what I said.
Achi heard the sound of a cell phone vibrating from behind a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. He still hadn't spotted his quarry. I think you voiced this guy. Did I have a note? I don't have a note for how you said him. Do I?
Alright.
I don't.
I'm sure this is the place.
His voice was low and confident.
Nailed it.
Uh-oh. Did he have friends? Still clutching his phone, the assassin wandered deeper into the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi took the opportunity to slip out the door. They ran through the alleyways back toward the main road. Before they reached it, however, they suddenly found their path cut off by one of the foreigners who chased them earlier, the accomplice of the man with the pipe. He stood waiting for them, holding a knife in one hand.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
If they turned back, Achi knew, the man with the cane might catch up with them, and he had a gun. Ooh, what would you rather deal with, a gun or a knife?
Knife, of course. I always thought I'd be pretty good at getting stabbed. Like, I feel like I could get stabbed several times and, like, not die.
Achi slipped off his sleeveless jacket and wrapped it around his left arm. He was going to have to use his left arm to guard against the knife while punching with his right hand. He clenched his fist and braced himself. And then, suddenly, he froze.
Huh?
A small dark silhouette dropped from somewhere up above. Landing deftly, the newcomer lunged toward the man with the knife, closing the gap between them in the blink of an eye. Yeah, I guess it's that guy. The figure delivered a swift chop to the back of the man's neck. He dropped to the pavement like a dead man, finally giving an Achi a clear view of the shadow behind him. Achi couldn't believe his eyes. It was a small-statured young woman with Middle Eastern features. Hitomi let out a little gasp. Kanan? be continued. Well, we got Achi to the end of the hour.
Alright, nice going, Achi. So where do we go now? Tom?
Alright, we can go to Tama or Osawa. Osawa's pretty close to the end. Tama's got a few things to do, it looks like.
Alright, let's polish off Osawa.
Okay.
He's had his egg. He's feeling better now. He's ready.
Right now, Tanaka is at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. Were you Tanaka? I think you were Tanaka. Yeah, I have it as Butlery next to your name.
Director, if you have a moment.
Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen.
I've got something urgent to discuss with you. Yes, of course.
Osawa took the bug tracker from his pocket and handed it back to Kajiwara.
I won't be needing this anymore.
As soon as they had left the kitchen, Tanaka leaned in close and whispered to him.
I got an email from Hitomi.
He showed his cell phone to Osawa. Oh, this is Hitomi. It looks like my sister is being held captive in a blue minivan somewhere in Shibuya. But that man is still chasing me, so I can't really go looking for it.
Blue minivan? Allow me to handle this, sir. I'll figure something out.
Osawa knew he trusted Tanaka for a reason.
Thank you,
he said with a bow.
Oh, you wouldn't happen to know any place she might have gone, do you, sir? What? It's just that all she's told me is that she's been moving around. I'm sorry. I don't really have any idea,
Osawa replied. He was ashamed to say it. There wasn't a single place he knew of where his daughter might be inclined to go.
Ah, I see.
Tanaka, picking up on his discomfort, was visibly embarrassed himself. He hastened to change the subject.
By the way, how did your talk with Mr. Makino go? I confirmed that he was behind the human testing, but I don't know who sent me those emails.
Tanaka paused for a moment in thought, looking like he might have a hunch.
All right, then,
he said.
We'll have to talk about it in more detail later.
With that, the assistant director headed for the front door. Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara spoke from the kitchen door.
Peeping in on me again, huh?
Osawa grumbled.
Ooh, nailed it.
Thankfully, it didn't appear that the detective had overheard his conversation with Tanaka.
And good grief, that thing is noisy. If it's broken, why don't you just throw it out?
The sounds from the bug tracker grew fainter and fainter. Something wasn't right, Osawa now realized. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said. This is my bug tracker.
Pardon me.
The Osawa's getting to you.
Oh yeah, I'm getting gruff in here. So?
Osawa huffed. What I mean is, sir, this one isn't broken.
What?
A chill ran up Osawa's spine. He swallowed audibly.
I've pinpointed the source of the signal,
Kajiwara said.
it's coming from Mr. Tanaka.
No,
Osawa thought.
I must have misheard that. Hold on, say that again?
I've located the source of the signal. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka.
The detective repeated. This time, Osawa heard him crystal clear.
I'm certain of it. Mr. Tanaka has a listening device on him.
Osawa felt the blood draining from his face. If someone had been listening in on the conversation just now, then they'd heard about the email from Itomi. If the kidnappers were the ones listening, that meant Maria's life was now in danger.
I'll go after him, sir.
Kajiwara broke into a sprint. Osawa followed close behind.
Oh no.
My. We've got cliffhangers going on. And we've got one last one. Oh, I gotta break it open. Bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum. Maybe it's just a cat. Alright. And then we're finally gonna be finished with 1 o'clock. 1300. The sales demo is over, and against all odds, I managed to get paid. Money clutched in one paw, I head to the knick-knack shop to finally buy that necklace I can't stop thinking about. Hello? Anyone here? I call out. There's no reply. Is the shopkeeper out?
Just a moment.
Panting, the sales clerk comes scurrying into the shop behind me.
Sorry about that. I just had to pop out for a sec. Ew, you would not believe what I just saw.
He leans against a pillar, gasping audibly as he tries to catch his breath.
You hear about that necklace?
Do you still have it?
Of course.
Thank you so much. I have half the money here, and the rest is in my... Oh. I suddenly remember something very important. Oh no. The sales clerk gives me a curious look.
What's the matter?
My wallet! It's still in here! I pat the costume around my the tummy.
So why don't you just take that outfit off?
Well, I mean, the zipper's kind of broken. I wouldn't be having all this trouble if I could just get out of this darn costume.
Kind of broken? It's way more broken than that.
The sales clerk points me to a full-body mirror. He's right. The zipper in back is hanging open. Taking this thing off will be a cinch now. A cinch now. Oh, thank you. I give him a bow.
I'm not sure you need to be thanking me.
He says. No, I do. If you hadn't pointed that out, I might have let myself stay stuck in here forever. So really, thank you so much. I bow again and again. To be continued.
It's heating up. Ashi doesn't know what a preposition is. It's okay.
Oh.
Wait, what? I thought that was Tama.
She,
What happened?
she took off the cat suit.
So it was Maria the whole time?
I suppose so.
Why was her name Tama before? Is that the name of the cat?
It's because she has amnesia, and when they asked
So
her
she
name,
forgot her name.
she just said Tama.
Huh. So she was fine this whole time.
Yeah. Well, her brain is a little busted.
Oh, okay.
But-
yeah, maybe she got hit on the head or something.
I don't know what she's doing around, walking around like not kidnapped at all, but. We got everyone's open. So where would you like to begin?
Let's go back to. I want to find out what's going on with Tanaka. If he's really a rat.
Oh, so Osawa?
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. This is Osawa, so get your gruff voice back on.
I do not want others intruding into my domain. Accordingly, I do not intrude on others. That is how I live my life. That is how I forged my sense of calm. But something has begun to drive me mad. The boundaries between myself and others have started to collapse. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I will become something other than myself. And that is one thing I fear I could never bear.
Oh, no you don't.
Kajiwara tackled Tanaka as he strode toward the door. The two men collapsed in a heap in the front entryway.
Hey,
Tanaka barked.
what are you doing?
Hold still.
Kajiwara ran his bug tracker over Tanaka's body. It began beeping loudly.
Aha!
Kajiwara pulled off Tanaka's necktie clip.
It's a listening device.
Tanaka's face went pale.
Where did you get this?
Kajiwara demanded.
Well,
Tanaka trailed off into silence. Ooh, who do you think this is? Alright, I'll hit the button.
I gave it to him.
It was I who had
It was you?
appeared on the second floor landing.
you were listening in?
Osawa asked brokenly.
Ma'am,
Kajiwara said.
would you mind explaining this?
For once he seemed deadly serious. Nailed it.
I was barely able to hear a thing. That's what I get for going with something so cheap.
I held out a dangling earpiece. I guess Kajiwara keeps saying that.
When and where did you get that?
Earlier today, when I left to do some shopping.
And why did you plant a listening device on Mr. Tanaka?
Kajiwara asked.
That's what I want to know.
Tanaka chimed in.
Why would you do this, Mrs. Osawa?
He was trembling.
You were outside emailing someone earlier, weren't you, Mr. Tanaka? I saw you from the window.
Emailing?
Kajiwara looked into Tanaka's face. I nodded.
He came back into the house shortly afterward, and I asked him where he'd gone. And what do you think he said,
She was practically gloating, playing to her little audience. She began stalking down the stairs.
He said he wanted to check on something at the lab. Despite the fact that he was out in the yard there fiddling with his phone the whole time. So I figured that if I bugged him, he might show us true colors and... Enough.
Osawa cut his wife off. Tanaka had been emailing Hitomi, of course, but he couldn't reveal that now.
I think I get what happened here.
Kajiwara interposed. He folded his arms.
Your wife thought that Mr. Tanaka was in contact with the kidnappers, and so she planted a listening device on him.
The detective peered at Tanaka.
Who were you emailing, sir?
Yes, that's right.
I chirped.
Show us your phone, Mr. Tanaka. Let's see what you're really up to. Or is there some reason you, don't want to show us?
Osawa started to panic. If the police checked that cell phone, they'd find the emails from Hitomi. And if the kidnappers somehow found out about that, Maria's life would be in danger. But I was still relentlessly advancing on Tanaka.
Alright, stop this. Darling?
She turned to him in surprise.
Tanaka was sending emails on my behalf.
Osawa said.
I asked him to do it. And just who was he emailing? It was...
He needed to think of a lie, fast.
Ooh, we're gonna get a choice.
It was me, it was someone from work, it was Pretty Honey.
It was Pretty Honey. I don't know who that is, but I'd like to find out.
Okay.
It was Pretty Honey.
The room went silent.
Pretty...
Oh wait, Kajiwara says it.
Pretty... Wait, what did you say?
Kajiwara asked after a long, awkward moment.
Honey.
Osawa replied meekly.
My apologies. I didn't quite catch that. One more time?
Pretty Honey.
Osawa's voice was scarcely audible.
Pretty Honey?
I asked, sounding ashamed on his behalf.
Who's that?
Osawa felt his cheeks burning. Of all the names he might have chose, why had he picked that one?
Who is it, sir?
Kajiwara demanded. He regarded Osawa's face keenly.
A personal associate of mine. You wouldn't know them.
But why ask Tanaka to send the messages?
Kajiwara asked.
Don't you have a computer in your study? Couldn't you have sent the emails yourself?
My computer is having problems sending email. I'm not sure what the issue was. Look, the point is, there's no reason to worry about Tanaka's emails. Now I assume we're done here? I need Tanaka to run some errands for me.
With that, Osawa opened the front door. Tanaka gave him a quick bow and headed out the door. Who says this? Oh.
Hey, wait.
I started to go after him.
Just calm down.
Osawa barred the way.
There's no way he's connected to the kidnappers. Can't you see that?
His voice cracked, and he shuddered at a sudden rush of emotion.
There, sir.
Kajiwara said, consolingly.
She's just deeply worried about your daughter.
I turned around and marched back upstairs.
But still, if she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift seems a bit...
A tie clip. If you don't know what a tie clip is, it's this sort of clothing accessory meant to hold one's necktie in place. In the old days, they were a quintessential part of the salaryman's outfit, along with cufflinks and a company badge. Recently, tie clips have come back into vogue with some older men, now more frequently referred to as tie bars.
Oh, because it's easier to say in Japanese, right? Like tai bas instead of like tai kuripu.
Yeah. You know, interesting little fact. They call zippers in Japan chucks. Chuck. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's a British thing.
Huh.
Or from some other English-speaking country.
Maybe. Don't they make all the zippers in Japan? At YKK? I think it's called, or YYK or something.
I don't know. We'll find out next time in the next info thing. Tip. Kajiwara's muttering trailed off.
What do you mean?
Osawa asked.
Nothing. Not important.
The detective waved a hand dismissively, but there had been a definite note of suspicion in his voice. Nailed it.
Well, back to work.
Kajiwara headed back into the living room. Osawa returned to his study and sat in front of his computer. He had no desire to be in the presence of the detectives who now crowded his living room. The Aya Kamiki fan forum for people 40 and over was still open on his monitor. He reloaded the page and saw that his earlier thread had gotten a reply. It was from Pretty Honey, a regular contributor to Osawa's threads. Alright. Pretty Honey, username of someone who posts regularly on the Aya Kamiki fan forum. He seems to know a lot about agriculture and the police, as evidenced by statements such as, if the world were a farm with 100 people, as well as a tendency to post to another site called the 87th Precinct Telecommunity. Incidentally, Shinya Kano's girlfriend, Rumi, also posts to the 87th Precinct Telecommunity from time to time. She has had several massive arguments with Pretty Honey there, with the latter criticizing the police for not doing their job, while Rumi insists that police work is very difficult and deserves more credit. And we have a jump to Kano. Pretty cool.
Oh, I thought you said to Pretty Honey.
To Pretty Honey. Should we come up? Who wants to read Pretty Honey?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So, she's over 40, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so... I am opposed to the idea of Aya Kamiki expanding into America. She should be able to enjoy the success she's earned in Japan without having to struggle overseas.
Are you doing the faces also?
Yes. Aya has done so much for us. I'd like her to keep supporting Japan forever.
The message was festooned with the sort of emoticons that a young girl might use. Pretty Honey claimed to be a 19-year-old female college student.
What? She's supposed to be over 40.
Although the community was meant for Aya Kamiki fans 40 and over, the settings allowed anyone to post there. The only young woman among the members, however, was Pretty Honey. The thread continued.
By the way, have you tried the Aya fortune teller yet?
There's a link below.
Fortune telling, huh? The practice of determining a person's future luck or life events using cards, horoscopes, and or other methods of divination. Most people believe such prognostication when it foretells something good, and don't believe it when the outlook is bad. That's about
That's
as much
smart.
faith in fortune telling as someone should have. And we got a little video.
Look at that fortune coming out of that rod.
Very lucky.
All right, we got very lucky.
Osawa stared. Should he ask it whether Maria was safe? If it gave him a good answer, he'd believe it. If it were a bad answer, he wouldn't. It might be worth a shot, just for the peace of mind it'd bring. He clicked the link, and the Aya fortune teller page came up. It asked you to enter your birth date and sex, and then Aya Kimiki would offer her advice. Osawa followed the instructions, entering his date of birth, selecting male, and then clicking next. A few seconds later, his fortune was displayed. Should we give a voice to Aya Kimiki also?
Sure. You want to do Aya?
Yeah. Let me write Pretty Honey next to your name really quick. Aya Kimiki goes to me. Alright, what does Aya Kimiki sound like? She's a singer, isn't she?
Yeah.
So I guess
She
would...
sounds like.
Oh,
You gotta make her really like moe.
I was gonna try to sing her lines,
Oh, you can do that too.
but I can try doing it in the most moe voice I can muster.
You're a very work-minded person.
I don't know if that...
That was great. That was perfect.
Alright, cool. He'd hoped for some insight on Maria, but instead it was just a write-up about his personality.
You'd never be able to get by without the devoted support of those around you, but you probably don't realize that, do you? It's a big mistake to think you can get through all of life's challenges on your own. There's nothing cool about being ignorant. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Famous people who got your result. Shinosuke Oarai, playwright. The head of the Wandering Angels Theater Troupe. He has an interview appointment with Minori Minotokawa at 2:30 this afternoon. Great. Osawa couldn't help but feel that the advice was painfully appropriate. He went back to the forum and replied to Pretty Honey.
Nice to hear from you again, Pretty Honey. I definitely know how you feel about Ayakamiki being ours. Still, I'm confident she's got what it takes to persevere and succeed in America. And if she does fail, well, all of us in Japan will be here to welcome her back all the same. Guess this voyage to America I've concocted just has me a little bit worked up. Oh.
Ooh woo. Osawa clicked post and leaned back in his chair. Kajiwara maybe?
Mr. Osawa, Mr. Osawa.
It was Kajiwara shouting from outside the door.
First the toilet, then lunch. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. What is it now?
The toilet again.
There's been a development in the case. please join us in the living room. We have important matters to discuss.
Kajiwara had his detective face on. When Osawa entered the living room, I was already there, looking stern and solemn.
Now that you're both here,
Kajiwara said.
allow me to share what we know. We've identified a location that appears to be the Syndicate's hideout.
You have? What about Maria? Is she there?
Osawa exclaimed.
We still haven't been able to ascertain whether your daughter is safe.
Well, then what were these important matters you needed to discuss?
Osawa felt a wave of anxiety rush through him.
The hideout in question is a condominium in Hiru, and it's owned by...
By whom?
Mr. Osawa, please calm down.
Tell me. Go on, out with it.
Kajiwara took a deep breath.
The residence is owned by Mamoru Tanaka.
Osawa was speechless. He couldn't process what he was hearing. Tanaka?
Lies.
I shrieked.
Just what are you implying? That Mr. Tanaka's a kidnapper? Oh, where's your proof? He just gave it to you.
With all due respect, ma'am, weren't you suspicious of Mr. Tanaka yourself?
Sorry, she had to yawn. Well, I suppose, but...
You did go so far as to stick a listening device on him.
Flustered, I withdrew into a vacant silence. The sudden ringing of the phone startled everyone in the room. Was that Tanaka? No, it couldn't be. There's no way. The phone was wiretapped. The detective wearing the headset nodded to Kajiwara, who in turn motioned for Osawa to pick it up.
Hello?
He said cautiously.
Hello? Wait, is this not Tanaka? Or is someone else?
This
Do you
is
know who
someone
this
else. I do, but I don't know if I should reveal it.
Okay.
Maybe you'll figure
Okay.
it out. We'll see.
Alright. Hello? Is this the home of Maria Osawa?
The voice was not Tanaka's. Osawa
Nailed it.
didn't recognize it. But the veil of despair that hung before him thinned slightly.
Is this the home of Hitomi Osawa?
This time, the man on the phone used Hitomi's name instead.
Yes, that's right.
The caller immediately hung up. As Osawa stood there, dumbstruck, Kajiwara gently took the receiver and hung up the phone. One of the detectives addressed Kajiwara. I'll be the detective.
We've traced the source of the call to a cell phone. Also, we've pinpointed the base station used. Inform Director Kuze so he can prepare a team just in case.
Just in case?
Osawa asked.
What do you mean by that?
Kajiwara frowned slightly.
Just because this is a kidnapping case doesn't mean that every phone call comes from the kidnapper. We'll look into it, of course, but...
I see.
Besides, right now, confirming Mr. Tanaka's whereabouts takes priority. Don't you agree?
Pardon me.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, Osawa.
Osawa nodded.
Someone should call him.
The detective added.
I'll do it.
I got out her cell phone and dialed up Tanaka.
Where was Mr. Tanaka headed?
Kajiwara asked. He eyed Osawa keenly. Ooh.
I don't actually know. I don't actually know.
Even leaving out the part about Hitomi, that was still the truth. If Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, Osawa knew he ought to tell the police about the blue minivan and the emails from his daughter. But part of him still trusted Tanaka deep down, and he couldn't bring himself to reveal it all.
We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium,
Kajiwara said.
let's wait for them to report in. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium,
Kajiwara said.
let's wait for them to report in.
I don't know why I did that twice. On the far side of the room, Ai was squawking in frustration. Despite several attempts, she hadn't been able to get through to Tanaka. Kajiwara's phone rang, and he pulled it from his pocket.
Kano? What's going on?
He headed into one corner as he spoke into the receiver.
I suppose that'd be alright. What for, though?
After a few more quiet words, Kajiwara held his phone out to Osawa.
One of the investigators on the scene would like to speak with you.
Frowning in confusion, Osawa took hold of the phone.
Osawa is speaking. Can I help you?
This is Detective Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Time is critical, so I need to just cut to the chase here.
There was a pause as the speaker took a deep breath before continuing.
Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi?
What?
Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat.
What are you talking about?
The antiviral research was top secret. So how did some detective from the Shibuya precinct know about it?
Because he's a
We
detective.
gotta jump to Kano. Ooh.
He
oh.
detects.
I was gonna say, the time is, I thought it was 4:20. It's actually 2:20.
Oh. Rip. We'll get there eventually.
Osawa was bewildered.
I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I know what this syndicate is really after. Mr. Osawa,
Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply.
Mr. Osawa?
The detective continued after a moment.
Is everything all right?
Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. They were after the virus? Did he mean the UA virus kept at the lab? Wait, hold on. The detective had to be wrong about that. The kidnappers must have the UA virus already.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to do what I did to Hitomi.
That was from the email. Did we have a voice for the email?
I don't think so.
Do not look away. These are your crimes.
At last, Osawa understood what those emails from A were all about. They were a preview of the tragedy that was yet to unfold. The kidnappers probably meant to start the main event soon. It might already be too late to stop them.
Mr. Osawa,
Kajiwara asked.
are you alright?
The detective gazed with concern into Osawa's ashen face. Bracing himself, Osawa spoke up, his voice hoarse and dry.
A killer virus is about to be unleashed in Tokyo, and I know who's responsible. It's me.
The sudden confession caused the detectives on site to stir like a hornet nest.
Please, arrest me.
Feeling the weight of his crimes crushing down on him, Osawa dropped his gaze to the floor. He held out both wrists.
I'll tell you everything down at the station.
He said.
Anything you need to know.
Osawa imagined bodies dropping left and right. There were limits to what might be cured by the small stockpile of antiviral his lab currently contained. If they were unable to quarantine the infected in time, in Shibuya, no, all of Japan might be engulfed in a pandemic that the drug could never stop. If you don't know what a pandemic is, it's a massive outbreak of a particular infection on a regional or global scale. Given modern advances in transportation, some researchers are of the opinion that the global risk of a pandemic is higher than ever before.
What? No way. We're not gonna have a pandemic. It's
Yeah.
crazy talk.
We've got vaccines, you know. He could only hope that his complying with the authorities might help stop the spread of the infection before it was too late. Bad end. Guilty conscience. The thought of the Uwu virus devastating Japan filled Osawa with despair. Blaming himself, he asked to be arrested, but this only happened because of what Kano said to him. A simple error in word choice led Osawa to a completely wrong conclusion. Kano ought to properly inform Osawa just what the kidnappers are after. It's all Kano's fault. It's always Kano's fault.
What a goober.
Right. Did you want to do another one?
Let's do one more thread. Let's go to the next, like, whatever,
Alright.
death or
We got Maria,
battle.
Hachi, Kano, and Minorikawa.
Let's check in with Maria, the new secret character.
The sales clerk continues to stare at me.
You know, you look really familiar.
He says, "Huh? Really?" I perk up at that. Maybe I can find out something about who I am.
Yeah, you totally look like some pop singer or TV personality. I just can't remember who.
Oh, that's what you meant. My shoulders slump in disappointment. Look, if you're trying to flatter me, how about a discount on the necklace?
Sure, okay. I mean, it's just something I picked up on the side of the ho ho.
The sales clerk stammers for a moment.
Okay, how about I take off 10,000? 30,000 is yours.
You mean it? That perks me right back up. Guess I'm easy to please.
Ooh.
Get your mind out of the gutter. That's not what she means, and you know it.
Sure. You look like you might need to buy some new clothes, too.
He points to my sweater. Oh, it's ripped. There's a tiny tear in the left shoulder.
So, what do you want to do about the cat?
The sales clerk adds.
Want me to dispose of it for you?
He gestures at my costume with his jaw. Oh, right. What should I do? What should we do?
He obviously wants to help me. Might as well have him get rid of the costume, too.
Alright. He obviously wants to help me. May as well have him get rid of the costume, too. Sure, if you don't mind, I say.
necklace is mine. I pay him the 30,000 yen, take the necklace, and leave the knick-knack shop. A few minutes later, near the station, I spot a sort of mall.
Ooh, Sega. Do you think they have Sonic?
Probably. Do you see Sonic? I see Snoopy. I think that's Snoopy in one of those claw machines. Don't see any Sonics.
Oh, maybe. Snoopy's just like Sonic for boomers, though, right? Like they're both dogs. They both like to go fast.
Yeah, pretty much. They both fly planes, red planes. Checking
Yeah.
the directory at the entrance, I see that it's got several clothing shops and an arcade inside. They probably sell shirts in here. I hurry on inside. The interior of the building is like a twisting maze of corridors, all of them overflowing with people. Still don't see any Sonics. I take the escalator to the second floor and find myself amidst rows of arcade games. I was trying to get to the fashion area, but I must have gone the wrong way. He's whiny.
Oh, we know this guy?
Yeah, this is a Toyama.
Oh, this is Toyama. Excuse me. You haven't seen a lost little girl, have you?
I turn to see a miserable-looking middle-aged man peering at me anxiously. Yeah, that's Toyama. He got separated from his daughter, Hana, while running from debt collectors. He's on edge, worried that the men who are after him might take Hana hostage.
You've seen her? A little girl, about 10 years old.
A girl around 10? Have I seen her? What's her name?
Hana. Hana Toyama.
Hana. Oh, that's a pretty name.
So, she's about yay tall.
The man launches into a rapid-fire explanation, describing the girl's features, hair, and clothes.
I got separated from her around Center Guy. She likes this place, so I thought maybe she'd come here.
Center Guy. That's right, now I remember. This is the guy I bumped into earlier in the afternoon while I was racing around in the cat costume. He got separated from his daughter? Yikes. If she did come here, it's not going to be easy to find her in the midst of these crowds. Are you sure she didn't go back home? I ask.
Well, there's this problem.
He mutters.
Going home isn't an option.
Well, that's not really an explanation.
Sorry to bother you. I'll look around a bit more.
With that, Hana's father disappears into the crowd. I leave the arcade and head for the fashion area. I bump into Mr. Yanakishita in the hallway, lined with photo booths. Huh? Boss? What's he doing in a place like this?
Oh, Tama, you're out of the suit.
For some reason, he's got a bunch of magazines strewn across the floor. Yeah, finally managed to get it off.
That's good. I wish you could have been at the sales demo without your face hidden away.
What are you doing? You mentioned something about a creek earlier. Are you going on a trip?
Yeah, I was, but then I remembered something important. I get motion sickness, something fierce.
He sounds kind of proud of himself.
So yeah, no trips for me. Heck, I don't even want to think about that now.
What about the money you owe? I ask, curious.
Well, as it happens, I think I may have found my solution.
brings a hand to his mouth and giggles.
Right here. I found a great way to make a killing.
Making a killing to earn a lot of money, usually in a very short time and or with little effort. The phrase originated in the 19th century in reference to hunters who were paid based on the number of kills they made. He opens the magazine he's holding to reveal a scratch card with a potential 100,000 yen prize.
You just gotta scratch off one of these to win 100,000 yen. All I need is 30 of them and my debt's squared away. Wait, so that's 30 grand. Okay.
Yeah.
Each magazine I can nab is more money for me.
Despite his enthusiasm, the story doesn't quite add up. Are those scratch cards guaranteed to win?
No, of course not. It's a lottery sort of thing.
Well, then having 30 copies of the magazine is hardly a foolproof situation. Quite the opposite, in fact, but I hold my tongue.
Okay then, now that my goddess of fortune Tom is here, let me hurry and scratch these suckers off.
Yanagishita
He's hurry and suck these scratchers off. Pardon me.
Yeah, Yanagishita begins fervently sucking away at the first card with the coin.
With a coin. Oh, that one's a loser. Maybe the next one. Nope, that's a loser too. Damn it. So this one, and this one.
In a spectacular display, he scratches off one losing card after another. Soon, he's down to just one last magazine. You're not a very lucky person, are you?
Oh, please don't say that.
Mr. Yanagishita looks like he's on the verge of tears. I stare at one of the losing scratch cards. You know, if you could just see the symbols through the card, you'd win for sure, I say jokingly. I hold the card up to the light. When I do, I really can see the symbols through the card. Boss, I think I might have just...
Shh.
He interrupts me before I can share my shocking discovery. I look at him in surprise. Mr. Yanagishita has gone all pale.
Quiet, Tama. Those guys are here.
He shoves me into a photo booth. Those guys?
The debt collectors.
He hisses.
They just do not give up.
He clutches the sides of his head. Peeking out of the booth, I spot a pair of men who look pretty rough around the edges. Is it those two?
Shh. Not so loud.
The men are looking around, and they're getting closer and closer.
What did I do? Oh, what did I do?
Mr. Yanagishita starts getting panicky.
Tama, what do I do?
I have no idea.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good.
Mr. Yanagishita whimpers. Alright, what do we do?
Let's size him up. This guy gave us a job,
All
so
right.
we kind of owe him.
This guy gave me a job, so I kind of owe him. I look around for a better place for the two of us to hide. Unfortunately, I don't really see anywhere that might work. We might be safest staying right where we are. Just stay nice and still, and we'll be fine, I whisper.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The curtain is drawn, so people can't see inside, but just to keep up appearances, we start taking photos as if we're normal customers.
I really hope they don't look in here.
Mr. Yanagishita murmurs.
What do we do if they find us?
Maria's just having the time of her life. They won't. Just don't worry. Despite my reassurances, it was a while before he stopped trembling. Then he said,
You know, Tama, they say that when a man and a woman meet under unusual circumstances, it's easy for them to fall in love.
uh-huh. Do they now?
They do. Going through an extreme situation together makes you fall for each other. So, wanna go get married?
No way. Yeah, I am not having this conversation. Anyway, I think they're gone now. The debt collectors, I mean. Mr. Yanagishita peeks out and quickly scans the surrounding area.
They're gone? They're gone! Ha 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 ha! So long, losers!
His fear has given way to a burst of manic energy.
Guess I'm in the clear now. Thanks, Tama. Come on, let's take some commemorative photos.
Huh? To commemorate what exactly?
Come on, it'll be fun. Okay, big smile now. They're here, aren't they? Ready? Cheese, butter, margarine, Afro-life.
After that, I part ways with Mr. Yanagishita and head to a different floor. I don't tell him about being able to see through the scratch cards. The guy really ought to develop a proper work ethic.
Hey, come on, wait up.
I'm on the escalator to the 3rd floor when I hear someone shouting. I figure it's someone yelling to their kid, but when I turn to look, I see a young man I don't recognize staring right at me.
Oh, is it Achi? Where are you going? It's not safe for us to get too separated.
What? Who's this weirdo? Is this some new pickup trick or something? I rush up the escalator to get away from the guy. Oh, there's Sonic. We got him.
Hey!
When I get to the restaurant section on the 4th floor, I'm hit with a sudden pang of hunger. Come to think of it, I haven't eaten a thing all day. I'm so hungry, I mutter to myself as I walk around. What should I eat? Then I spot Chidi coming out of a Chinese restaurant. Hey, Chidi! She turns to look at me, confused.
Who are you?
Oh, it's me. It's Tama.
Oh, I thought I recognized that voice.
She replies with a nod. Did you eat again? I ask.
Well, yeah, but then they kicked me out. Isn't that just terrible?
She looks pretty displeased.
I came here because they said it was all you can eat, but then they closed the shop because they ran out of food.
Oh, wow, you're right. I spot one of the restaurant staff hanging a closed sign on the front door.
Man, now my early afternoon snack is ruined.
An afternoon snack? At an all-you-can-eat buffet? I can't help but stare at Chidi's midsection, amazed by what that stomach is capable of.
By the way, have you seen the boss?
She asks.
I thought he'd finally accepted that he needs to buckle down and work, but he's got some new crazy scheme. Guess the guy is just never going to learn. I figure nothing good's going to come from associating with him. I'd be careful if I were you, too.
Huh. Done with her little rant, Chidi says goodbye and heads off among the restaurants.
Hey, Tommy?
Who said that? Were they talking to me? I turned to see a businessman of some sort staring in my direction. Like everyone I've run into today, I don't recognize him. For some reason, though, I feel relaxed in his presence.
Is that you, Hitomi?
Hitomi? Could that be my name?
Or are you Maria?
No, As I fumble for words, the man peers at me with obvious concern.
What are you doing in a place like this? We need to get you back home. Your parents are worried sick.
My parents? Did someone file a missing person report while I've been wandering around with amnesia? The man leads the way, and I follow. We leave the Gigo building. Gigo? Gigo? Gigo.
I think probably Gigo, yeah.
We leave the Gigo building, but head down a narrow alleyway. Then the man suddenly stops. I feel a jolt of anxiety as I notice something gleaming in his hand.
It doesn't matter which of the two you are. You're both in the way.
He mutters almost as if talking to himself. Right after that, everything goes dark.
It's not good.
That's not good. A mysterious man.
Mysterious Tanaka.
After meeting a
Almost
man
said
who
Tanuki.
seemed to know her on the restaurant level, our heroine hoped to find out more about her past. Instead, she wound up getting attacked in an alleyway. Ultimately, this all came to pass because she was avoiding that young man who mistook her for Hitomi. If he hadn't come shouting after her, she would have gone on to buy some clothes as she'd originally intended. It's all Kano's fault. No, it's all Achi's fault. Well, that's probably it for today, I assume?
Yeah.
Great. So we have Achi and Kano and Minorikawa
Cool.
for next time, and then we gotta fix their bad endings. And I gotta draw Maria for the thumbnail, don't I? No, I'll leave it as Tama for now. In the next video, it'll be Maria. Alright, so, what do you think? What do you think of...
I have a theory.
Yeah,
You always ask me that. I have a theory this week.
okay.
Tanaka might be a bad guy. That's my theory.
That is a pretty interesting theory.
You know why I think that he might be a bad guy?
Why?
Because everyone said so, and then he killed Maya. It's just a hunch.
Did you see the Maria? You didn't see the Maria thing revealed coming, did you?
No,
Did you ever wonder who was inside the cat suit?
I thought it was just some girl named Tama. I don't think there's anything suspicious about it.
This is normal for Japan.
Yeah,
That's true.
people going around in suits and stuff, you know.
Tokyo. It's
All in a
Tokyo thing.
day's work.
Pretty honey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realized the Kanan thing though, because it's been a while
No,
since
I-
the previous episode. When Kano and Stanley go into that bar where all these people are dead, one of them, their last words is Kanan.
Oh yeah.
So presumably, that little girl that Achi and Hitomi meet up with, if she is Kanan, is the one that Kanan
Kanan the... Probably. We'll see.
Cool.
Do you have any more theories?
That's about it.
Nice. What do you think so far? We're about... I think... Did I say this was about the halfway point? This is probably the halfway point.
Yeah. I like where it's going. I'm very curious to find out, what the real deal is. I think it has something to do with the virus, but it's a pretty spicy story. Looking forward to see what happens next.
Now that the cat suit is off, there's probably going to be a lot of Maria Hitomi shenanigans.
Yeah, for sure. Some hijinks, maybe even.
Like, we've already seen one where it's like,
Yeah,
are you Hitomi?
that was a shenanigan.
Yeah. Well, here's a hammer to the face. Do you have a sign-off? Anything you'd like to tell our listeners?
Uh,
So my wife and I have been getting into baking bread recently. We have
yeah.
this little...
What kinds of bread?
Well, we have this... We bought this book at the store that has like a basic dough recipe. And then the additional recipes is like how you can vary that. So we're going to try to go through as many variations as we can. So we tried like using soy milk instead of milk, and the last time we tried tofu.
Ooh.
Mixing tofu into the dough. Like cut the amount of milk in half and you use tofu instead. It's pretty interesting. There's like...
Was it good? Did it taste good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's mostly a texture thing. Instead of
Okay, yeah,
flavor
like
thing.
a nice spongy bread.
Yeah, a little
Get a
more
little
spongy.
spring to it.
Kind of. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes because it's hard to like make bread every day, so we just like do it on a weekend. So it's hard to remember what the bread was like last week, but I think so. The texture was a little different. I know the soy milk bread is a little dense, but that could have just been us working the dough a little bit more than we probably should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't want to overwork the dough. It's a classic beginner bread mistake.
I think next time we're gonna try mayonnaise, mixing mayonnaise in the dough,
Ooh,
which sounds pretty interesting.
like mayonnaise.
Yeah, there's like mayonnaise you can mix in. You can do like matcha or cocoa powder. You can mix in curry powder. And then after those like dough variations, there's like way different things you can put into the dough, like beans or chocolate chips or cheese cubes.
Ooh, sounds
yeah.
pretty good.
That's pretty exciting. So for maybe the next couple episodes, I will bring up bread.
Sweet, you're a bread guy now.
I'm
A
bread.
breadman.
You're the. What did you talk about last time? I knew you talked about steaks. Did you bring up
Talked about
like
steaks.
salmon?
You talk about.
Salmon last time?
I talked about sushi. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. I think I had gone to eat sushi last time
Yeah.
before we recorded. Anyways, yeah. All right. Look forward to hearing more about bread, folks. Stay
Bread.
tuned. Stay tuned for the next 428 bread scramble, tofu scramble.
Yeah. It's first part will be the game, and then we finish off with a little food. For the next
Yeah,
few episodes,
little-
if you want your bread fix, I'm here. So yeah, I'm gonna call it. Make sure you guys don't trust businessmen with hammers. When you're
No,
when you're not wearing
especially
your
not
cap.
if they're like hitting you with the hammer,
Yeah.
because that's bad. All right. See you next time, folks.
See ya.